There are men who have been doing designing. There have been men doing other things. And we have women doing like as rickshaw drivers and taxi drivers, and here we have her. So I think that barrier has already been breaking, and I think we need to encourage that the most. If we want to, this question only that's been put up, the comparison between a working woman and a housewife. Why is that a comparison? Because what's the difference between the two? They both are working.
It requires the same amount of dedication and hard work, both the jobs.
I mean, that's absolutely. I mean, there is no. I mean, you never ask a question like, why is a guy chosen to be a chef or a pilot? He's just chosen to work whatever field he wanted to. And same goes with women. Some women love doing household work. I mean, that's their dream, to cook. Some women love to go out and take up a job. Some women love to be entrepreneurs. So, I mean, they have chosen what they like to do, and I think there is no comparison between them. The problem is not with women choosing. The problem is with the society looking at them and thinking, oh, she's a housewife. So what? She chose to be a housewife. She wanted to be a housewife. The only thing that I feel needs to look into is that she chose, and she wasn't forced. Yeah, she wasn't forced to become a housewife where she wanted to do something, but maybe the parents did not allow, or the husband is not allowing. Oh, she got married and she left her career. No, that if she chose to do it, then it's absolutely fine. So what we need to help women choose to do what they want to do and encourage them in doing that, be it being a housewife or an entrepreneur or anything else, and help the society look at them as they look at anyone else.
So this encouragement, it is very necessary that it comes from home initially. Very necessary to take the first step. Ameya, I would like to ask you, you have taken up an awesome career being a lawyer. Yeah. How was the reaction from your home when you initially mentioned this?
Okay, see, the thing is, I'm the only daughter. And it was very easy for my parents to say and to dictate to me literally what career to take up. Now, the scenario at my home personally is such that my mom is a government officer and my dad is a retired doctor. Now, the moment your dad is a doctor or a lawyer or an engineer, you don't decide your career. Society does it, or else your patriarchal lineage does it for you. So the moment my dad is a doctor and 70% of my family has lawyers. So now the moment I was asked after my 10th actually, if you want to be a doctor, it's goes but natural, you have to take science. You can't take arts. And then I made the biggest crime of my life to take arts, and everybody in the family was like, "Are bapre, as a bapu doctor and arts." My God, it was like as if I have chosen. I don't know what crime I have committed, by being a art student and deciding to become a lawyer. It was like, my family, my parents were very, very supportive. My dad said, even if I was a doctor, or even he literally said this to me, even if I was a sweeper, you would have chosen to become a sweeper. He asked me that on my face. So he was like, I am a doctor. That doesn't mean that you have to become a doctor. You be whatever you want. I didn't want medical science. I didn't take it. Simple as that. I wanted to be a lawyer. My mom was very much, in favor of me becoming a doctor. So my dad never said that. And in fact, all the family members also who used to, shun me or look me down because I chose a profession different from my father, he used to shut them up also on my behalf. And he actually took a stand for me. And just one thing I would like to add is what Ma'am Suhani just said, that you have a choice whether you want to become a working woman or you want to become a housewife. Now, even here, there are many girls sitting here. If I ask them, how many of you all want to become doctors, lawyers, they'll raise their hands easily. If I ask them, how many of you all want to become homemakers, how many will raise their hands? I won't. Even I won't, maybe. Even if I want to be a homemaker, I want to be one from the bottom of my heart, but I don't think I'll raise my hand and say, I want to be a homemaker. Now, why does this thinking exist in our society? If you want to be a homemaker, say it out loud. Take pride in what you say.
I would like to differ. I would rather say that we women are just, like ma'am said, we are very good at multitasking. We are very proud of it. We don't look at it as a career option. We ourselves say that we can manage both. Exactly. We can handle both.
On that note, I tell you, last week in my neighborhood, there is this couple, okay? They are both, the husband is a retired army officer and the wife is still working. So he's at home and the children are not at home. So this incident was reported, how it happens in the neighborhood. One couple fights, the news spreads in the entire locality within like 2 or 3 hours. So all she asked him to do was, she had to go to work that day, all she asked him to do was just take care of the household. So his answer was, तुम काम पे जाओगे और बर्तन मैं धोऊंगा. So अरे एक दीस धुयलें जाल्यार washed one day you'll become less of a man or what? Seriously, we do so much. My mom does so much. All your mothers do so much. Our panelists, men, you all are going to become less of what? एक दिस मातशी घासची पडली आयतना जाल्यार you all are going to become less of a man. Is that a question on your mardangi? No, na. So, if you have to do it one day, then what's the problem?
Okay, so to sum up, all you're trying to say is your family has been very supportive
Very, very
throughout.
supportive.
So, I would like to ask the rest of you, if this support from the family is a little less or it's missing at times, do you think that could be one of the reasons for women to get out of their careers, just to adjust at home probably? They're taking up careers on a very strong end. Initially they start full-fledged and then eventually as the issues go on, they choose to get out of the career line.
So I really want to endorse what Sir said. You know, we need woman-centric policies coming out. In the sense, when we talk of supportive environment, family support is one thing, but to support professional women. See, what happens is, you know, we choose to take these milestones in life, for instance, getting married, having children. You know, in our society, these are seen as roadblocks. You know, these are seen as something that will put you off from the prime position or will put you off, you know, the active work that you're doing. And society, you know, gives these small little cues to you that, you know, now maybe, you know, you should just step back, step aside. You know, there's no guarantee per se. I recently read a very good book, Can I Have It All? It's called Can I Have It All? In that, she raises this question that, you know, this is about a private side, not the government side. So she says that, you know, now they're reaching a stage where they're trying to bring in laws in the private sector that if you're going on a planned, you know, pregnancy or planned maternity leave, you're given a guarantee by the company that when you come back from the maternity leave, you are resumed to the same position. You know, that's a very encouraging, supportive policy that's being thought of to bring about in private sector. Similarly, he made a very big point. You know, for working women, having support in terms of child care facilities being provided. Now, in police organizations, we are also trying to bring about, you know, creche facilities at the place of work, you know, so that while you're working, you can still attend to your children. You know, so we need to make a supportive environment, which she said about social, you know, social environment starts from home, social environment starts from your educational institutions. That is supposed to be supportive. Your work environment needs to be supportive. So at the end, we need supportive environment coming from the government as well, you know, to bring out policies that support working women.
I would say that we also need to change our attitudes to the people around us, because what invariably happens is that even if the family is supportive, I mean, just take for example with the legal profession, you know, I mean, it's like you go to court from 10 to 1, 2 to 5, then you have to read, then you have to meet clients, you have got to update on things, and if you are involved in other activities, that also is there. So where is the time in any case to do housework? Now the next part of it is, so even if you have a supportive family, everybody has to contribute in the family. So, and even if they want to contribute, nobody has the time to contribute. So which means you got to engage a domestic help, let's say, okay? Or you need to have facilities which provide housework facilities, you know, socialized housework facilities, okay? Now suppose those facilities are sadly lacking, okay, the socialized facilities. Now as far as, you know, like engaging a domestic help, you have to engage, invariably you have to pay the person properly. We don't have proper laws yet for domestic helps. So we need to take all this into the ambit. We can't talk of ourselves in isolation from society. So you need to take this into account, and you also need to take into account that very often the domestic help turns out to be a migrant, and then we have such a negative attitude towards migrants. We say, yeah, ganti, temka gara, oile, sokoile, all these kinds of expressions are used. But you have to realize that most of the housework today in Goa is done by these poor migrants. I'm not talking of the rich migrant. That is another story altogether. But I'm talking of the poor migrant. So we need to look at all these issues compositely. We cannot address the issue of working women, housework, without looking at the whole context of what is happening in society.
Okay, let me give me a male perspective because I'm the only
Very
member
much
here.
needed in this.
Okay, the first thing, I don't look only women as a homemaker. I think man is also a homemaker, and we do work at home. At least I do work. And we were both boys, so in my home there are no girl. So I used to help my mother. Now I cook, and I take passion in cooking even today. And I think this goes well with many male members now, at least at the urban level. They are better cooks than their wives. Yes? So therefore, I don't completely agree that the only woman is a homemaker. The men also started sharing it, but may not be at the large scale, but it is a beginning is there. So therefore, what we need to see is that the message that the men can also work at the kitchen and do domestic work should go into the rural areas. Yes, I agree that. The second perspective I want to talk is as a employer perspective. Okay? With the due respect to the woman, I am talking like an employer. What is the employer's view when an employer appoints whether it is a woman or a man, as an employee? The employer looks employee's dedication towards his organization. So when government appoints you as a superintendent of police, madam, they look at you to contribute wholeheartedly and with complete support. They are not bothered about what is your problem at home, technically speaking. As an entrepreneur, when you appoint an employee, you want 100% from that employee. That's what is a primary motivation appointing employees. Of course. So therefore, am I going to get my 100% from the employee? If I'm going to get 100% from my employee, then I will think about what is the problem of the employees. And again, the employees' problems within the legal structure, as I already told you, that the law has to be favorable to everybody, not only women. Of course, women requires a little more favor because of the biological differences that they have with the men. This I agree. So therefore, what I expect, the women in every aspect not only should fight for equality, not in privileges. We want equal treatment. Whether you are a man, whether you are a woman, you should be equally treated, whether in terms of payment of money or in terms of workload, whatever it is. But we do agree that women do get some kind of a special allowance kind of thing where you get your maternity leave and all. This is because of the biological difference. That's not a favor. But once those things were equally given, I don't expect an employer would give you more and more privileges because you are a woman. For example, I cannot come early morning, I cannot go late nights. I do agree that there is a problem. Now I am talking not as a principal, I am talking as an entrepreneur, as an employer. Okay? Being an employer, don't give me more headaches for me. I'll give you equal treatment. I give you whatever the law prescribes, your maternity leave and all. Don't tell me that I can't work in the night because I'm making the male to the work in the night. You could insist that there should be a safe transport to the home. Yes. Those are the things that we need to concentrate. So, women should fight for equality and you should be taking pride about that I'm equal, but don't ask privilege by using your femininity as an employer.